All right, guys. So I just wanted to apologize because the thing is this wasn't anything that I was planning or working on in this moment. Like it's something that's been on the back of my mind for quite some time now. And I was looking for like a 2, 3x. I was like top 5x performance, right? Increase. When I saw something that like made it click, I just lost my. I went straight to space. I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna point this at? I was like, you're gonna look at anything. I was like, I can aim it at the sky, the ocean. I was like, Elon Musk needs this, and then I was like, I'm gonna point it at myself. I just like I couldn't stop thinking of applications because when I was looking for a 5x improvement, I literally didn't even want to do the numbers. I was like, in my head, it's like this is somewhere in the millions. And then I started running the numbers like 12 hours later because I was like, all right, now that I'm like 12 or so hours, because every time you go to lay down, it's like boom, again, another idea. So I was like 12 or so hours later, I was like, all right, start to calm down. Let me just run the number real quick. All of a sudden, I run the numbers on a portion of it being very modest, and it was in the billions. And I was like, I'm just thinking to myself, like, how is it not going to be even weight? I'm like, I'm just thinking to myself about the sensors now. I'm like, okay, so now the sensors are going to be the limit. Like, I literally, it was like on like over 20 hours before like I could even, and then even after 20 hours, I was like, dude, I got to take Benadryl. I literally had to take Benadryl to go to sleep last night because every time I closed my eyes, it was just like, dude, over 10 billion times the performance. You understand what I'm saying? Like I just literally couldn't believe it. And it wasn't anything crazy that I did. I literally was kind of shortcutting some stuff. I'd worked with cameras before, so I was like, I understand all the, I was like the aperture, like the shutter time, and then having to deal with like the perspective. I was like, I'm gonna be a little lazy. I was like, I'll lose a little bit of performance here, but then I'll gain it back because I'll have like a simpler like work. Also have a simpler function to work with. So by using this little mechanical, kind of an idea, which no one uses mechanical. No one that touches a computer knows anything about mechanical. So I'm gonna go at it from a mechanical point of view. It's gonna lose a little bit maybe, but then I'll get it back because of how simple the numbers will be to manipulate. It's the simplicity of the numbers that really made this thing take off. Because when I'm doing it from a camera perspective, there's like in my head I was like, yeah, some matrix multiplication, right? And it's per frame, so like that will add up. My goodness, man, I had no idea that these people were literally just adding glue and tape on top of glue and top of tape. They're just like more GPU, more GPU, more GPU, because it was like such a shit way to go. Like to be honest, like when you go at things from a camera perspective, I mean, look at me and look at these objects. How can you tell how far and where I am with respect to them, right? So here I was like, okay, yeah, you got to do matrix transformations. I had no idea that every little triangle that they're making to make it more, all those are matrix transformations, and all those matrix transformations. I had like the one, the two, then right here, somewhere in the middle, they're like, oh yeah, all of these little shapes on every little corner is a matrix transformation that has to happen, and then you get to do another one, and then there's all this normal crazy stuff after that. And I was like, whoa, that is insane. Like I haven't taken the time to really look into GPUs and how powerful and how much. I just see them getting hotter, getting more powerful. I'm like, yeah, it's a lot of crap they're doing. But it's like even with to put that like 10 billion, I'll say 10 billion is not a number that even I just have running around with in my head, right? Like it's not something that I saw regularly. And so when I saw it, I just lost my mind. I was looking, I was up here with all these applications already. I was like, dude, I'm gonna do this with it. I'm gonna do this. I'm like, this is gonna help humanity. Like, I'm like, just thinking of like heat sensors. Like, every sensor I could think of. I was like, dude, we gotta get this everywhere. I'm like, what are we even gonna use the GPUs on? I'm trying to think now, like, what the hell are we gonna do with all this GPU power now? It's like, I literally, I tripped into this. I guess I've tripped into a lot of things. That's what happens when you're the only jack of all trades that exist anywhere. Look around. Is there anyone who's really, really smart who isn't like, I focus on this really one little niche thing? Like companies are out there like, I want someone who knows how to do just GPUs or just CPUs or just hard drive. And so it's like, everyone is so blinder focused that I just keep tripping into crap now. And when the things I trip into sometimes, like this and the one medical thing back when, it's really hard to like it's really hard to like just not lose your mind because it's like 1 minute you're walking through reality and the next minute like you're walking and you're just like, wait, where the hell am I? You're in like limbo. You've just stepped into something. It's like you opened up a portal and you just walked inside and you're the only one there and you're trying to explain it to people through a window. And the thing is, by the time you're explaining it to them, it's like it's just this weird balance of like, all right, you're super excited, so it's like not any way that you can articulate it. And then as soon as you start to like lose that excitement, which is finally when it's time to go to sleep, whenever it lets you like go, it's like now you've got to deal with the fatigue aspect of it. So now fatigue, and then as soon as I start explaining it, you start to realize more and more and more, and then it just boom again. I mean, like this idea for the GPU thing, I thought that like the 10 billion was crazy, and then all of a sudden, like before I went to sleep, I started thinking of all these other little things. It's like, oh, you know, you could probably get a little bit of this out of it, right? Use like a dual shutter kind of situation here. I was like, you might even be able. I started digging in more, so I was like, you know what? No one else, like, no one else is. Even if someone was to try and steal it, it's like, go for it, man. You go and you work out your thing with it. I just understand that you guys are just so limited in your focus that whatever you come up with, even if it's better than what exists and it makes you money, it's gonna be crap. Like that's the problem. Like, you know, you guys are so blind or focused with your degrees and your certifications and your I worked with this. Anytime I see someone now who's like, I've got X amount of experience, I was just like, oh, screw you. Like, you're wasting my time. I've got 50 years of I was like, oh, you suck. Like, the first thing that someone talks about is how many years of experience. That means that's all that matters to them. That's like their only value. I want to look at someone's page and be like, I was able to accomplish so and such with such and such like output or here or there at so and so place. Like, and then like by the time I hear about how many years you've worked somewhere or you've done something, that should be like way at the bottom of the list. But if the amount of time you've spent someplace is the first thing I see, I know you're not a useful engineer to talk to. That's all that, like, that's the best you've accomplished. Your accomplishment, your number one accomplishment is I've spent this much time. Like, everyone talks about Einstein, right? Oh, he's a genius. No one really focused on the fact that he took what, like 10 years of failure, failed at something for 10 years in an area no one looked at. And then now he's the biggest genius. You know, he spent like 30 or 40 years accomplishing nothing. He was trying to solve a problem that nobody else was looking to solve. His E equals MC squared is literally an equation with three variables, and it has examples everywhere. There's not a single thing that doesn't have light, mass, or energy attached to it. So it's like only because no one else was. Everyone's like, I gotta do something else. He's just like, I'm interested in something, and guess what? I'm just gonna put my time into. He spent 10 years connecting three variables that have examples everywhere and everything. You're talking and you're seeing me right now, that's part of his test. All you had to do is come up with tests. So like, you guys keep going to school, keep collecting those degrees, keep watching things burn down around you, and I'm gonna try and just keep doing what I do, and seeing when people are, when they see my situation, hopefully, it's really easy, honestly, to see people and know right away, it's like, okay, you're different. You're not doing what everyone else is doing, and so I'm just gonna try and create like a little community of real engineers. I've already got a few that I keep on hand all the time, but we'll just keep doing this. Have a good day, guys, with your certifications and degrees.